Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about how to start trading forex and commodities in a very short video. So there are basically 5 steps which we're going to follow, and by the end of it, you should be trading ready. All right. So the first step is essentially finding a brokerage. Brokerage is a firm which give you quotes on the pairs that you're going to trade. One of the brokerage firms we use is actually IC Markets. It's actually one of the biggest brokerage firms in the world. It trades in trillions in volume, which is essentially a lot of money. But there are some features which helps you essentially be a better trader and make a little bit more money. Firstly, 0 pip spread. It just essentially, you won't understand this for the time being, but it essentially just means the prices are the buy and the sell prices are a lot tighter. So it helps you make more money. Secondly, it's got 1 to 500 leverage, which again means you can trade with more, you can borrow more money. So obviously when you trade with more money, you make more money. But obviously that is a lot risky. So just to start off with, I'd still recommend using quite a low leverage so you don't blow your accounts. You can also trade in micro lots. So what that means is, even if you have very, very small accounts, you'll be able to trade with that. I know previously, about 15, 20 years ago, you could only trade 1 lot sizes, which is obviously quite unrealistic for quite a lot of traders, as it requires a lot of capital. And sort of fourthly is they have loads of tradable instruments. So there are more than 2,000 instruments. You can trade as many of them as you want. All right. So if we look at the second step, is basically finding a website where you can just look at charts. So it doesn't really matter what charts you look at, what websites you use to look at charts. But what the ones again we use is TradingView, is because there are plenty of indicators there which helps you to be a little bit more accurate in the markets. We can also make indicators as we make indicators at perfect entry. So we can make it on this platform and then publish it to our viewers and stuff like that. So again, that's a pretty decent website to look at charts, I'd say. That's fairly simple. There are obviously free versions as well, so you don't have to pay for this. This is completely free. You can obviously get upgraded versions, but if you're just starting off, we wouldn't recommend going for them anyway. So I'd stick to the free version for the time being. And thirdly, we're just essentially going to talk about what are the sort of easy forex pairs that we can trade to start off with. Especially sort of forex pairs that don't wick a lot, that don't pattern weirdly or anything like that. I have 5 of them listed here. I'm going to list them down below in the description for you to look at, but they're basically USD GBP, Euro GBP, GBP JPY, USD Swiss franc, and USD Canadian dollar. So those 5 are fairly easy to trade, I'd say. It doesn't take a lot, like essentially like gold. Gold can wick a lot. It can be a little bit harder to trade. So I would stick to these pairs to start off with, definitely. And then the fourth step. So the fourth step is getting you to actually start trading. So we're gonna make you use a few instruments, few indicators, so that you can gauge the market a little bit better. So here I have 2 RSIs. I've always loved RSIs. I still use RSIs. I think they're very simple and easy to use, and it works very, very. It's a very simple indicator. So essentially, if it gets closer to the top, it's overbought. So it's gonna, in theory, it should go down. If it gets closer to the bottom, it's oversold. So essentially, it should go back up. That's the theory behind it. Obviously, it's not as easy as that. I can make a separate video about it, and you can sort of get into it a little bit more. That's all right. But the second indicator I use a lot is the MA. So the moving average, and the setting for that essentially is I just use 200. So it's nice and long. It's nice and sort of varied across the board, if you can say that. And then the way we use the MA in simple words is basically we work off the off the line. So if it gets below, gets closer to the MA, usually it just sort of moves away from it. That's how I started trading. And still to the day, I still use that strategy in quite a few places. As a setting for the RSI, I wouldn't personally look at this RSI. That's the RSI 40. I'd look at the RSI 14. So it gives you a few more trading options essentially. And lastly, I'd say the most important thing to consider when starting trading is to manage risk. You should always manage your risk. You should never risk more than you can afford to lose. And that basically sums it up, to be fair. You should always risk what you're willing to lose. Don't risk any of your rent money or anything like that. Always use your disposable income to trade, I'd say. And it's very easy to sort of be to manage your risk, but the mental side of things can get a little bit hard. So that's why you need to get a few set of rules to follow, and you just follow it across the board. If you start deviating from the rules, I'd say just stop trading for a few days and then get back to it. And if you're still doing it, then obviously stop for another 5 days and then get back to it. But if you're still doing it, then I'd say trading isn't for you. If you can't manage your risks, you won't be a very good trader at all. All right. And obviously, so that there'll be sort of like the normal free indicators that we have. Us Perfect Entry, we do offer slightly more advanced tools. If you have a look there, this is our flip and ride indicator. I use this a lot. I use this every day. I think it's brilliant. I love it. So essentially you could try that out, but I wouldn't try that for the time being. I'd definitely start off with the moving average and the RSI. It's a little bit easier. Then once you're a little bit more experienced, maybe in a few months, then maybe have a look at some of the sort of harder indicators, which it's not really hard, but you know what I mean, it's a little bit more complicated to work around. So you could look at that in a few months maybe, but that's basically it, to be fair. So that should get you essentially trading and off your feet. And I also want to talk about our Discord. So this is just the normal chat. It's completely free, so feel free to join. We have an amazing community where we talk about trades daily, and we also have daily market analysis. So you can have a look there, see what you think, and base your trades off that. Loads of people do it. I do it sometimes. It's always worth having a look. But yeah, that about sums it up, to be fair. It's pretty simple. So that'll be it, guys. Thanks a lot for watching and happy trading. See you guys later.